Alright, we live, you know. Hey, call halal Yahweh,
Ba'Hashem, Yahushua, Ba'Hashem, Rakah.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to you brothers that's pushing the word in sincerity and in truth. As you can see on the title, we just got some information, you know, we just want to go through an article, and just want to bring out precepts. But Esau has systematically destroyed Israel, all right? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? Systematically, the so-called white man started with his elites, his higher-ups, have created this system in which you dwell under that oppresses you, and based upon the way you were taught since your birth, you either accept it or you reject it, you know, and a lot of our people accept it, all right, and they're not going to come out of it until the destruction comes. Give me Isaiah 69. Let's start with that. Let's start with Isaiah 69, and then somebody give me that scripture I was asking for earlier about my people.
Isaiah 47:7.
You know?
6.
This is Isaiah 6 verse 9. And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not. And see ye indeed, but perceive not.
Yeah, the Lord told the prophet Isaiah or Yeshaya to tell the people, hear ye indeed, but understand not. See ye indeed,
But perceive not.
You know? The Lord had blinded the majority of our people from understanding what's going on right in front of them. All right, even though they even write articles like we're about to read, you know? Go ahead.
Make the heart of this people fat.
Meaning make their mind fat. Keep them consumed and occupied with things, with basically vain things, so that they don't get this understanding. Go ahead.
And make their ears heavy. And shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert, and be healed.
Yeah, and so you're gonna have a certain people that's gonna hear and understand and convert and be healed. That's the elect. But the majority of them, the Lord sent the angel to block their understanding, and they can't see what we're giving to our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. See, this right here, this understanding is living water. All right, it's the light. All right, because this place that we dwell in America is the shadow of darkness, or it's just nothing but darkness. All right.
Yeah. This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people.
Yeah, darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. All right, that's why when we go out week in and week out, and we speak this word, all right, the people look at us like we're crazy, like we don't know what we're talking about, what we're speaking about according to the Bible, because they think that the Bible or the God of the Bible is all love, all right, and He can do no harm. But we're out here to tell them that, look, all hell is going to break loose in America, all right, and the reason why the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are destroyed is because the Heavenly Father put it in the power of the Edomites. All right? You got something to say?
Nah, get that one scripture you called from first.
Isaiah, yeah.
This is Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 6. It says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance.
Yeah, the Lord said He was wroth with His people. He polluted His inheritance. Go ahead, keep on reading.
It says, and giving them into thine hand.
And giving them into thine hand. Who is the thine that is speaking about? The so-called white man, the Edomites, man. He was wroth with His people, you know, and He have given them into thine hand, the so-called white man. All right, we're going to convey or bring you some information on what the so-called white man has done systematically, all right, to have us in this position that we're in. All right, but it all goes back to the curses, because we transgress the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father, man.
All right, if I can say, because we was going in breaking bread before we did the video, and we went into the Willie Lynch letter, you know, the making of a slave, where it pretty much said that if you do this thing correctly, then this people will pretty much be in subjection to you, besides some phenomenon happening. You know, so pretty much they destroyed us to where they didn't have to have us in physical bondage, but they destroyed your minds. You know, that's what the scriptures say. You go to the lost, you know, go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, that word synonymous was being destroyed, you know? And that's what they did to us. But this phenomenon is coming, and that's why we even preach today, but we trying to show you how he systematically destroyed us, you know?
Finish on that.
Yeah, finish it. Yeah, finish
Yeah,
it.
it says, thou didst shew them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
Yeah, you didn't show us no mercy upon the ancients, upon the old. You put a yoke around our neck, you know? You had no mercy on the young. Hey, right now, what they're doing to the Issacharites, well, the northern kingdom, because there's multiple tribes coming up from the border. All right, what they're doing to the young, and what they're doing to the old, man. They show no mercy. All right, the scriptures say that thou shalt have judgment without mercy. Thou have showed no mercy. All right, so what we're about to bring out after this video, Lord's will, you'll understand why the so-called white man he has to go into slavery.
Yeah.
All right, why he's gonna have to deal with double. You know, let me bring this out real quick in the lamentation. The lamentation.
The scriptures talk about that he may never be able to rise nor possess the land again. You know, because the things that we were reading before we turned on the camera, it was just horrific. You know, as far as junk food, you know, him taking over the school system and teaching the kids. You know, and then after but so many generations, the people forget.
Yeah, this is Lamentations 4:21. It says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom," represents you so-called white people. You're known in the Bible as the daughter of Edom, that dwelleth in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shalt make thyself naked. And you made yourself drunken because you basically had the children of Israel subject to all your madness, all right, and you boast in that, and you thought that it was going to last forever.
Yeah.
All right, but eventually the cup, which the cup represents slavery, is going to be passed unto you. All right, it says, thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. All right, meaning you're going to expose yourself. And basically, you're in the process of being exposed first by the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah. That his word is spoken through men, all right, his servants, the prophets. Then you got all these other nations, they're exposing you in your wickedness too, man.
All right. Like I say, another reason how he exposed himself was through the internet. You know, they got all this information on here. That's why we read things that we found on the internet. You know, that's why they want to shut it down.
Yeah, Rockefeller said the internet was the worst thing ever invented. You know. Let me finish this. Verse 22 says, "The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion." See, our punishment, all of this stuff that we about to read, is almost accomplished, man. It's almost over, man. All right, we transgress the laws of our Heavenly Father. That's why we're in this situation that we're in now. All right, but that punishment is about to end, and it's about to pass on to thee. It says, "He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity. He will visit your treacheries, your rape, robbery, and murder." That's what the Lord is getting ready to visit these Edomites, man. O daughter of Edom, he will discover thy sins. So everything that you've done, you're going to be judged for. All right? You got something?
Yeah, get the prophecy and the judgment.
Mm-hmm.
This is Ezekiel 25:12. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh power, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom."
So the Lord's going to stretch his hand out upon Edom, upon you so-called white people, man. You're the scene of great future judgment. All right? The great future, you're the modern day Egyptians, man. All right, when the Egyptians lost their firstborn, it was a great wailing. Well, amongst you so-called white people, you Edomites, there's going to be great wailings and lamentations that's going to come upon you as a people. All right, go ahead.
It says, "And I will cut off man and beast from it, and will make it desolate from Timman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword."
Yeah, the Lord said he's going to make the land they're desolate, man. All right, mainly America's going to be laid desolate by thermonuclear destruction at an appointed time. All right, because that's what we're prophesying. We're prophesying that America's going to be destroyed at an appointed time. Before martial law comes, before famine comes, before pestilence comes, America's going to be destroyed at an appointed day. We don't know that day, that time, that hour, but the Heavenly Father knows it. And please believe me, when the Heavenly Father gives the command to Yahweh Shah, he's going to come with quickness, man.
Yeah. And this is going to happen when he comes. Verse 14, it says, "And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, starting with Yahushua. And it says, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, thy power.
Hey, the Lord's going to give certain men the blessing of executing vengeance according to the vengeance and the anger of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right, and that day, you so-called white people are going to know that you're the devil, man. When that vengeance takes place at that appointed time. All right.
Yeah, some quickly, because you said this, they the new Egyptians, right? So this is Acts 7, verse 17. It says, but when the time of the promise drew nigh, which the Most High had sworn to Abraham, the people, Acts 7, verse 17, it says, but when the time of the promise drew nigh, which the Most High had sworn to Abraham, the people grew and multiplied in Egypt, to another king arose which knew not Joseph. The same dealt subtly with our kindred and evil entreated our fathers, so that they cast out their young children to the end they might not live. So, hey, back when we was in Egypt, they dealt subtly with us. You know, once we multiplied as a nation, you know, and part of what we're gonna read is hey, when pretty much when they felt as though they couldn't control the people, they had to come up with a scheme. Or pretty much in them times in Egypt, they dealt subtly with us. You know, like meaning they was crafty. They didn't just come up straight up and just slaughter you with like swords. They did it in a subtle manner, you know, the deceptive manner, such as they destroy you through your food poisoning, you know, poisoning your religion, the things that you like they did with the Bible, you know, or music, things like that, of that manner that you people don't see coming, so you don't see that they actually destroying you. But they did what they doing now? Planned Parenthood, you know, all the different things, and that's what they doing to us now. And we was discussing how look from the times of slavery, you know, when they divided the families. When did they stop? That they never stopped doing it, you know.
Well, in the time, the second chapter of Exodus, Pharaoh was just like, let us come. Well, in the first chapter, he said, let us come deal wisely with them because they are more mighty.
Yep.
Exactly.
You know, they're more in number. Yeah, and you know, it was fear that if there was a war that would arise, basically we would go to the side of the enemy of Pharaoh, man.
You gotta read that then.
Here, I'm gonna take.
Okay. What was you at? Okay.
Yeah, was at 4. Just give out
That's
title, you know, the title. And
okay.
Let them know.
Yeah, this is that's an article called "What is White Supremacy" by Elizabeth Martinez. So we went to like the 4th page, and we was just going in on I'll just read it. It says class lines harden as the All right, I'm gonna have to start from this part. It says racist. It says, how does white supremacy maintain and defend a system of wealth, power, and privilege? Because people don't really understand what racism is. It's a whole system of things and how they running it. And that's another way how you can't see that they running things, man. You know, it says racist power relations are sustained by the institutions of this society together with the ideology of whiteness and developed during Western colonization.
Now these institutions that were created, they were created back during the time of slavery. A lot when we on the highways and hedges, we spoke about it was a number of companies that are still around to this day that have profited off of slave labor, mainly CSX, the freight company, Lehman Brothers, a lot of these banks, Rothschild Bank. All right, these institutions are controlled by Edomites.
Yep. They were in business during the time of slavery. That if you don't have some type of like mind, that's some crazy stuff. Like this company was there in the 1600s.
Yeah,
and it's still going on till this day.
Same family members that's owning these companies. And the brother brought up a good point earlier, how they families wasn't split up like our family. So them same ideologies was passed down to these people, which is why we still in the same condition that we in.
Because knowledge is power,
And another part on the subversive process, when we get to that, a part of they pretty much take away your ability to critically think, because you got to go through their school system. They make it a law that you have to go through their school system. And at a point, they put out the Latin, or I would say the Native Americans, the Northern Kingdom. They assimilated them into their schools. It says the first European settlers called themselves English, Irish, German, French, Dutch, etc. Not white. So they was classified in different people, you know. And why? Because they wanted to not be the Edomites, pretty much. It says over half of those who came in the earlier colonial period were servants, but by 1760, about 400,000 of the 2 million non-Indians were enslaved Africans. The planters who formed an elite class in the southern colonies, which is the rich Edomites, were outnumbered by non-whites. In the Carolinas, 25,000 whites faced 40,000 black slaves and 60,000 indigenous peoples in the area. So that's 25,000 Edomites versus 100,000 Israelites. It says, class lines hardened as the distinctions between rich and poor became sharper. And that's why they say, oh, now they try to say, which they try to use to confuse Jake. It's not about the it's not a black and white thing. It's the 1% versus the 99%. It's the 1% versus the rest of us, or it's the rich versus poor.
That's why you have, well, that happened in the 60s. Going back to the Vietnam era, you had Jake coming together with these Edomites, all right, in regards to the war effort, all right, and peace, you know, the hippie movement, man, you know, civil rights, all right.
Yep, and you got Exodus, the first chapter, when it said that, if you quoted, it says, this is the point of that. It says, the problem of control loomed large and fear of revolt from below grew among the elite. So, hey, when you controlling a group of people, knowingly, and you know you're oppressing them, you always fearing that revolt. You always fearing them coming back at you, which is why they fear. They call it the black fear, that they fear that Jake is going to uprise against them, which is why they're killing Jake in the streets, man. You know.
Well, part of COINTELPRO was the fear of a black messiah, so-called black messiah, rising up, all right, trying to wake Jake up.
Yeah.
You know.
That's how we know it's systematic. That's why they systematically destroy Israel. The majority of Jakes don't even know anything about COINTELPRO, because as we said, knowledge, reading is fundamental, and they don't read, they don't look up anything, because these files is unclassified where you can look it up. All right, we got the documents.
I like to watch this guy called, his name is David Johnson. He's on 1010 WOLB out here on the radio. He comes on Wednesdays, but he speaks about the fact that the same thing that these Edomites have been running on us for years, now it's trickling over to the so-called white man. He sees what's going on, and he doesn't like that, you know? He sees the surveillance state. Now, the surveillance state was used under the guise of criminality in our community, so they put cameras in our neighborhoods. Basically, in Baltimore, you see those flashing cameras and stuff like that. Yeah. They got a program called Eye in the Sky, all right, where they send surveillance planes over the cities, all right, and they keep an eye on everybody, man, basically. And this is what's coming to the so-called white man too, you know. That's what he was bringing out, you know. And these Edomites, these so-called white people, the ones that are paying attention, they don't like what's going on, man. They see that a tyranny is coming, man. All right.
If I get this quick reset, this is Obadiah 1:4. It says, "Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars."
The satellites. That's part of him setting his nest amongst the stars. All right. They show you that in the enemy of the state. The type of technology that he has. All right. And his major symbol is the eagle, man. All of these Edomite empires use the eagle as their symbol. All right, the Nazi Germany did it, the Romans did it. All right, the United States does it, man. Go ahead.
It says, "And though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring down," said Yahweh Bashem Yahushua.
Yeah, so the Lord's going to bring them down, man. All right, and they started going down back when they first announced themselves as going to the so-called moon, man. I mean, going to the moon, man. That's when their power structure, right around the late 60s, man. All right, right around the time of Lyndon Johnson, all right, Lyndon Baines Johnson and Richard Nixon. All right, that's when Esau started going down, man.
If I may say, just like you was talking about with the cameras on the streets and all that, you know, a part of them exalting themselves is that they can see everything. You know, they trying to see everything, be everywhere. That's why we got these cell phones. You know, everywhere you go, you're attached to them. They trying to see everything.
Well, with the
You know?
chip, with the mark of the beast, if you had that type of technology, you'll know whoever, you'll be able to fly a plane over the people and know who's down there under it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I read a precept for you real quick? Yeah, this is Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 10. It says, "For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it hath perverted thee."
Hey, thou trusted in our wickedness. What we're reading, all right, they trusted in that, you know? And they said, who seeth us? Who's going to understand what we're doing?
Yeah.
We're so clever. All right, we know, you know, we have these plans, like, because it's certain phases to these plans. They have an agenda, a 30-year agenda, all right, 60-year agenda, 100-year agenda, all right? What was that other?
Oh, the
Subversive?
subversive?
The subversive. Real quick, bring that out, because this is how far along in the phase we are. It says the subversive process. First you have the demoralization phase, which it takes 15 to 20 years. All right, so you've seen that manifesting in the 60s, all right, the 70s, the 80s. All right, then you had the destabilization phase.
If I can say this real quick, it's this video on YouTube. I think this, you know how they got the CIA in America? Well, in Russia, if I'm not mistaken, it's called the KGB.
Yeah.
The KGB, and it was this Russian guy. He was breaking this whole thing down.
Yeah.
You go on to YouTube.
Yep. Yeah. He breaks this down.
Cause that's how you know they actually put plans in effect to destabilize or destroy a people or a nation.
Yeah. So this destabilization phase started with the demoralization. All right. Remember, there was a lot of commotion in the 60s, the late 60s. All right, the 70s. The drugs came in the 80s. All right, the heroin. The heroin was before that, but the crack epidemic. So it mentions religion, education, media, culture.
And they actually had since slavery to do this to us, you know. But then once we integrated with them, I guess that was around the 60s, Martin Luther King and them, that's when they really started to change your whole ideology on things.
Now for religion, it says politicized. All right, so, you know, they say separation of church and state. I don't know, but it says commercialized entertainment right here, which says methods.
Oh, yeah, damn.
So from religion, what they do, how they demoralize the people, they politicize it, they commercialize
Real fast, because the H&M commercial with the monkey thing, you know, that's one of the commercialized. Go ahead.
Entertainment.
Entertainment. You have Kevin Hart out here.
Well, no. You got these commercial pastors.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's talking about the religion.
Yeah, this is the religion aspect of it.
So they dumbed down your whole aspect of worship. So now you don't really have a power that you worship.
It's all about singing.
Yeah, it's commercialization. Yeah, entertainment, politicized.
Yep.
You know.
Bringing pork to the fucking goddamn church.
Then you got. Can you look up the word permissiveness or permissiveness? Because you have the next one is education. All right. They went in and they corrupted all of this. The religion, the so-called religion that they had set up. You know, they corrupted it. The education, they corrupted the education system. The media, it was for the media. They said the methods was monopolizing. Now you have a few companies that control these different media sources. Because you have the Rothschilds, they own the Reuters, and they own Associated Press.
Right. It says permissiveness, great or excessive freedom of behavior.
Because wide is the gate that leads to destruction.
Now that comes through the education, permissiveness. See, it says permissiveness, a method. Well, can you read it again? What you said for education?
It's basically freedom. Having
Access.
Access to freedom.
As much as
And the results of that is ignorance.
Yeah. And that's what our people are. And it said, I read something back a while back where it said, and they want pretty much, you go through this public school system, which they made mandatory. They don't want you to learn anything. They want you to just be workers, which means they take away your critical thinking, and that's the easiest way. That's part of the way that they control the people.
And
is through
it leads to ignorance.
through that.
It leads to ignorance, and we see it as a result. These people are ignorant to what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, the one that said media, the methods that they use in media, they monopolize it, they manipulate it, they discredit, and they it says non-issues. So that in the media you see a lot of things that are non-issues. All right,
Follow you saying great
yeah,
things.
follow, yeah, yep.
Bro, man.
Yeah, bring out your precept.
Because that permissiveness reminds me of like drunkenness. You know, this is Habakkuk 2:15. It says, "Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness.
Mhm.
Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory."
Yeah, all of that wickedness is being brought out.
Yeah, because the scriptures say we are drunken, but not with wine. So that's how you know they gave you a philosophy. This is the whole purpose of the devil, which means deceiver. They gave you a whole philosophy to change your whole thought process, who you were as a people, and they changed it to what they wanted to be. As we go into the two different images, the Lord wants you to be Israelites, but they want you to be niggas and African Americans. You know, so you drunk and thinking that you that, and what it leads to all those things, the results that the brothers is reading.
All right, so we got another one that says structure. It says law and order, and then it says methods of legislative, not moral. All right.
So those was ideas, and then they gonna actually structurally do it through certain structures physically.
Yeah, legislative, not moral. So the laws are based off of legislative policy and not moral policy, man.
What is it? Inhumane, something. Damn it.
Inhumane.
Yeah, like unusual cruelty and then something like that.
It says the results of this is mistrust and justice.
Oh hell yeah! You see that throughout this whole time, throughout America, man. And a bunch of these cops are getting let off, even though they clearly shooting Jake. You know, Jake maybe handcuffed. Jake could be handcuffed to the steering wheel, and they'll still tase him and shoot him. You know?
And get off.
Yep, and get off. This is real. I got this real fast. This is Romans 13:11, and that's like this is Romans 13:10. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. So you know, Esau had no complete love for the law or us. You know, because what he's doing, he's just killing us, like worse than dogs. And these goddamn cattle that they be beating up and treating horribly.
Now, part of the structure is security. It says intelligence, police, military. Those are the methods that they use. Now, the results of that is a state of defenselessness.
Ooh.
Because you can't defend yourself. Now you want to go out and get a gun. You got to get it registered.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's why they sending all these like propagandas and like school shootings, mall shootings, and all that, trying to take away the guns. You know, because they trying to keep the people defensive.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why we getting shot down by the police, like they saying, so you can feel helpless, so you can be at their mercy. And that's what I was saying at camp, man. If you thinking carnally, which they made up now, our people thinking like that because they gave us this philosophy. Now you only see what's right in front of you. If you thinking carnally, you gonna be like, they got this people over us. We gotta submit to them. You know.
Peaceful protesting.
That's
bro.
why if you want to keep getting on the script.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you get the Exodus one? Exodus 1:8.
Exodus 1:8. Now there arose a new king of Egypt which knew not Joseph, and he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more mightier than we.
Right. So they see us rising up as a people, you know. So they start dealing with us subtly, you know. They start destroying us, you know. Keep going.
Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto the enemies,
Right.
and fight against us, and so get them up out the land. Therefore did they set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the taskmasters. They set over taskmasters to afflict us with our burdens. Now, part of the taskmasters is these cops, They like the taskmasters on the lower level, these teachers, okay? Your bosses at your jobs. Those are them lower level taskmasters. Then the higher taskmasters is these government officials, the ones that's creating the laws. And these are the people that's over you that actually, because the main people that's over you is the elites, man. You so-called Illuminati that's pulling the strings. But they said these people, taskmasters over you Israelites, man. You know, and everything that this brother reading here, you know, through their ideas, the structures, and life that they giving you is to destroy you. And it's the word subversive, because I had Googled it, I just want to get what that means. I don't have it up. Subversive. Okay, I'm gonna just look up the word subversive.
Can I bring a precept?
Yeah,
This is
define
this
subversive.
is Lamentations chapter 3 and verse 35. It says, to turn aside the right of a man before the face of the Most High, to subvert a man in his cause, the Lord approveth not.
Dang, can you read the verse above
that's
that?
heavy, man.
It says in verse 34, to crush under his feet.
Read
all-
up, read up, read up.
Read up. Okay, verse 31. It says, for the Lord will not cast off forever, but though he cause grief, yet will he have compassion according to the multitudes of his mercies.
Right,
Because
because ultimately, the Heavenly Father put them over. As the scriptures talk about how He gave us into the hand of our enemies and them that hate us. You know, so them same curses that making of a slave, it correlates perfectly with the curses. You know, so pretty much it's like Esau is the damn curse. You know, he's using Esau to put these curses on us. You know, keep going, brother.
It says in verse 33, for he doth not afflict willingly, nor grieve the children of men, to crush under his feet all the prisoners of the earth, to turn aside the right of a man before the face of the Most High, to subvert a man in his cause, the Lord approveth not.
Right. Yeah, because the Heavenly Father, what he want? The scriptures talk about he don't delight in killing you, destroying you. The Heavenly Father don't delight in destroying you, but guess what? He has to do this. He has to put you through this so you can learn. You know, so you don't understand the mindset of the Lord, and reincarnation is one of them. You know how it's just it's a process of you learning. And now we learning, but hey, because he said to subvert, and that word to subvert a man in his cause. Now this is actually what we're reading. The word subversion means to overthrow. You know, it says refers to a process by which the values and principles of a system in place are contradicted or reversed.
Yeah, so as part of the New World Order, people can't think like people used to think. All right, people used to think about the family structure and, you know, so on and so forth. These different ideas that people used to have. People can't think like that in the so-called coming New World Order, man.
Yeah, they had morals back in the day. You know, I see this brother child acting up in the streets, and I go over there and smack the child up, bring him back to him. Like, look what he was doing, you know? Nowadays, you just got niggas just going fucking rampant.
Well, you used to have a community orientation. Like, I was just watching this Vietnam documentary, but back in the 60s, you used to have a small town, maybe it was Edomite, they was living in the Ozarks, the Missouri area. So you have a town, and you have the Edomite, they have a little business, maybe might run a store. The son gets out of school, he goes, works at the store, you know, and you have a little community, man. You know, that's gone, man. You got corporations coming in like Walmart that basically put the whole small town out of business, man.
Yeah, and then the scriptures, because the scriptures say he oppressed a man even his own heritage. What we used to do if it was a rebellious child, you would take him to the elders. We had a structure back then. You would take him to the elders, and he still was rebellious, you would stone him. You know, but you can't do that now. And now in these times, what they do is you can't correct your, you can't even whoop your children, and that's scriptural. You can't even whoop your children, but yet they can throw them into a correctional facility or kill them and be justified. You see, that's a part of them taking away. That's the part of them destabilizing you.
That's part of the security aspect of the subversion process.
Yep, and that's why it says, by which the values and principles of a system in place, which the system in place that we had was these laws, law, statutes, commandments that they beat out of us.
Honor thy mother and thy father. Nowadays, you got men, you got these children.
Well, not father, mother.
They growing up hating their mother and father. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
just getting completely out of hand.
Mainly their father, man. They say, man, fuck
Hell
my
yeah.
father, man.
What's the upside down script?
This is
29:16.
one of them.
Isaiah
One of the areas of the subversion process is life. It says family and society. The methods is to break it up, meaning the results is no loyalty state. All right. So
That's
there's no,
that child support stuff.
yeah, there's no loyalty. There's no loyalty between man and a woman. You know, it's dysfunction in families. You know.
I don't know. Yeah, finish it.
Mhm.
Because it's a little bit more. It says, I'll read it again. Refers to a process by which the values and principles of a system in place are contradicted or reversed. An attempt to transform the established social order and its structures of power, authority, hierarchy, and norm. So that's what they're doing. They completely subverted us, you know, to where now we're going according to their image. Well, majority of our people are.
Yeah, and they have no idea. They talking about coming back to the ways in which Esau has subverted them, and they're too late because Esau has his own agenda, and you want to move back. It would take 15 to 20 years to try to reverse this, man. All right, and the next phase would be the destabilization phase, which we're seeing now, which is going on now, and this only takes 5 years. Which we're past the destabilization stage and we're going into the crisis stage. All right? Precept?
Yeah, I got a quick precept. This is 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
And that falling away has already happened because we fell away from our nationality. We forgot who we were. All right? Now we're coming back into it, and that man of sin is being revealed, which is the so-called white man. Go ahead.
It says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High, which means pretty much, hey, like we just read about the subversive process, he completely reversed it. Now everything's contradicted. You know, now you're going according to his image. He's trying to create this world in his image, man. You know, so he's. Now I was just saying, so he pretty much trying to sit up there as the Heavenly Father, man. You know?
I shall be like the Most High. Now, because I got that 29. This is Isaiah 29, verse 16. Actually, let me start at 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us?
Micah,
2 and 2. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay.
Yeah, because when the Most High destroys this place, it's going to be like this never happened, man.
Yeah.
All right, the destabilization phase, man, and all of this madness, man. It all stops with the nuclear missiles, man.
As of the first.
And this is why, this is exactly why our people are deep darkness, man. You know, because it's that veil that covers the whole earth, man. Because it's not only happening here, but they're doing it in India, Indonesia, especially Indonesia. Indonesia is being one of the fastest obesity countries. They're basically taking on obesity so quickly. It's like they're setting records because of McDonald's, Burger King, all these fast food chains.
Can you hold up that one?
But let me finish this. For
Yeah,
surely,
it say junk food.
yep. See, look,
Yeah,
that's
for
another
health.
one.
Yeah, health.
Yep.
It says sports, Medicare.
Wow.
So people have to go to Esau for his medical health. All right, and they being fed junk food and poison, man.
Yeah,
Chemical foods, man.
it's crazy because it shows like the brother said, Esau is the curse. But that's why we have understanding where it all comes from. These people don't have understanding, so they just gonna buck out once Esau show himself, because he's hiding himself right now.
Hey, the Lord's gonna cut off that long disease, man.
Right, but the thing is, you'll see the scriptures tell us, you know, that we was gonna eat poison and live, or that women shall rule over you, or all these other situations that we blatantly bringing out that Esau is doing.
Yep.
But we know where it's coming from.
Right.
He had no power but what our power give him.
That's what your house
That's why
shot
you ain't
said.
supposed to fear this nigga.
That's what your house shot
Yeah,
said.
he's the real nigga.
That's how you know. I think it's gonna say it. It's gonna say it, you know. But that's how you know, because the devil, the word that it says deceive you, he's the devil, and the Lord he said he put him there for a time, you know, so that he can deceive the world. So he was there, just like when we was coming to our that land, the promised land that he gave us. He told us to destroy the nations, or there'd be a snare unto you.
Yeah.
Now he got the nations all around us, so they can be a snare to see who's for him or not.
Because
So that's why they have to be here.
Because the Most High is not a liar. He warned you, you ain't listening, so now he gotta show you what he warned you about. You know?
He's
So-
a man. Yep, he's a man that keepeth his word, man.
Yeah, so, hey, you know, you gonna get it now, or you gonna fall right into that destruction,
Ooh.
stupid.
And that's why the scripture say, hey, man, the ones that can see it, it pretty much roughly paraphrasing it said like how, hey man, we know that the Heavenly Father is true because he's done everything that he said he was gonna do unto us.
Yeah, and that's,
You know?
that's being prudent though, because a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. You know, because we see it because we attending to it. We listen, we're reading. Blessed is he that readeth. You know, we're seeing it before it happens.
Yeah, and pretty much we trying to so like it, bro, go ahead.
Yeah, bro.
Now pretty much we trying to show you how this man is really the devil according to the scriptures and according to their own research, you know, that they brought out. You know?
It's all because the reason why I was going to go back what this brother was saying, because the Most High put his word above his name. The reason being because he said he's going to do something, he's going to do it. So therefore he has a certain stigma on his name. So now, hey man, that's why he's going to be well known, man. Every knee shall bow.
Yeah, come.
I'm gonna keep reading this part. 2 Thessalonians 2:5, it says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And we try and bring you back into the remembrance because you once knew these things, man. You was once told these things, but now you've been blinded. But the elect, once they hear these words, they're gonna see. It says, and now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. And that's what's happening. He's being revealed in his time, man. This guy's structure, though he may think he's gonna last forever, the Heavenly Father said he's gonna throw him down. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So the Lord letting him do these things, man. Until he be taken out of the way. And you start to see the beginning of that through what? This. It says, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. See? So now he being destroyed in spirit by the spirit of his mouth, through his prophets, and then he gonna destroy him totally through the brightness of his coming, man, when he actually is here, man. You know? Yeah, on that part, yep. That's all I wanted.
This article, it's going for number 4.
Yeah, number 4.
Did you read that yet?
Yeah, that's where we was at.
It says class lines hardened as the distinctions between rich and poor became sharper. The problem of control loomed large, and fear of revolt from below grew among the elite. Elite whites feared most of all that discontented whites, servants, tenant farmers, the urban poor, the propertyless, soldiers and sailors would join black slaves to overthrow the existing order. As early as 1663, indentured white servants and black slaves, Israelite slaves, had formed a conspiracy in Virginia to rebel and gain their freedom.
Right, so back then, you know, the lower class Edomites and the Israelites was working together, like they trying to do now. You got these marches established,
You probably was
okay?
21.
You got these marches established to pretty much destabilize the government, but here simultaneously, hey, because Esau know what he's doing at this point.
Yeah, what
You know?
did we say earlier? We said that back then they didn't want this to happen because they had to establish what they have now. Now they want this to happen so they can bring in their new world order. That's why you're gonna see riots in the streets, man. Are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans? You're gonna riot in these streets, and you're gonna be met with hollow point bullets that they bought back in 2014, 2013. All right, when you can't get your pension, your Social Security, your economic welfare benefits, you're gonna be taken to the streets because you're gonna be hungry. All right, and you're gonna be met with riot gear, all right, tear gas canisters, all that, man.
Yeah, at that point, it said they already came up with a conspiracy to work together, and this is what they feared against. So this is what they did. This is their plan.
Yeah, can you bring out Proverbs 11:21?
This is Salakia. Proverbs 11, verse 21, and it says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. You know, it says, though hand join in hand, you know, the wicked shall not go unpunished. Like, just because we join hand together with you, our people, you still gonna go unpunished.
Yeah, because
You know,
because
I
you
mean,
got
you're still gonna go. You're still gonna be punished a lot.
right because you got these Edomites talking about some as brothers brought up that the Edomites saying, well, I didn't have I traced my lineage and we didn't have slaves. Or they Edomites like to say, well, it was white people that helped you escape during slavery. You know, which we also know during the Underground Railroad, it was all according to plan. You know?
Yeah. Hold on. It says, the main fear of the elite whites everywhere was a class fear. Their solution, divide and conquer.
Right. So that's when they brought the word white up. So they lumped them all into one, because at first they was all divided when they had that point to they didn't want to be Edomites no more. You know what I'm saying? So they was all divided, but then at this point, when they was really oppressed, they was being oppressed too like they is today, they pretty much called them all whites at this point. And whites had more privilege than blacks.
Yes, sir.
So now that's how they start looking at Jake like how they looked at him. You know? Keep going on that. But what did I say get? The Enterprise? Yeah.
Yeah, that was heavy.
I want to keep, where was it at? It says, all right, here we go. On one hand, certain privileges were given to white servants. They were not allowed to acquire land, join militias, carry guns, and other legal rights not allowed to slaves. Oh, so they were now allowed to acquire land, join militias, carry guns, and other legal rights that weren't allowed to slaves.
So this is the beginning of white supremacy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is when they start, we're better than you.
Yeah.
Cause they put that in there. They put that over. They classified them all as the same, which they was anyway.
Yeah, they gave him that
Saw the
sense of
spirit.
entitlement. You know, I can do this, but you can't.
Exactly.
So I have to be better.
So when Trump said "Make America Great Again," this is what the fuck he's talking about.
You know, it's funny, bro, because as Jake wants more and more, they become more and more docile. You know, wanting to be more like Esau.
That's the whole point. It says, at the same time, the slave codes were enacted that legalized chattel slavery and severely restricted the rights of free Africans. The codes equated the terms Negro and slave. So just when that was enacted, that's when they started really calling us black and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know? So those laws, those slave codes, which is still around, because they didn't say they didn't end those things until like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and they still doing it. They still doing it because they own the institutions. You can't get loans and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, so they still doing it, or they still not hiring who they don't want to hire. Although they got laws in place that you got to give African American an interview.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
Yeah.
A minority. That's that Rooney rule in the NFL.
Yeah.
What you was gonna say though?
No, I was gonna say that just being called black is a bad word, which we understand that's a curse. You know, just to bring the understanding to the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this last little thing for this part. It says, with their new privileges, those in the servant class were legally declared white on the basis of skin color, continental origin. That made them superior to blacks and Indians. See,
And
natives in there too.
Yeah.
Northern Kingdom in there too. It
All
says,
of this, right.
thus whiteness was born as a racist notion to prevent lower class whites from joining people of color, especially blacks.
So just calling someone white is racist as hell.
Yeah. And but see, through a process of time, just like how they subvert us over a process of time, they can bring this ideology over a process of time to where it's normalized.
Yeah.
And people believe that this is true. Like they wholeheartedly think they white. And that's not, the truth is in the Bible, man. The origins, the beginning of time is in the Bible. Okay? Who do they think they is? You didn't create language. The Lord named you. The Lord, Adam, he named the animals. You know? But they think they can just come up and change things and change the lands and stuff like that. And then think it's true, just because they said it's true. Because if you believe a lie long enough, if you tell a lie long enough, everybody gonna believe it to be true.
Yeah.
So when we say things now,
Even yourself start to believe your lie.
bro, listen, when we say things now, they look at us as blasphemy. Like they said the prophets is mad. You know?
Yeah, we're gonna say America is gonna be destroyed. They're like, no way. It's like
They
this.
got the best military.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it on that part.
Yeah, this is Sirach 12 and 10 and 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit,
Ooh.
the kingdom is translated from one people to another. You know,
Yeah.
and then that's what's going to take place. The kingdom, this kingdom, is going to be translated to a way better kingdom, man.
Way better.
Way better, man.
There's no, you can't even say it 100 times better because there's no comparison.
And we're not going to rule like the so-called white man. The so-called white man rules with subversion, deceit, trickery, falsehood.
Yeah.
His false ideologies. That's how the so-called white man rules. The Edomite. That's why the scriptures say when the righteous are in authority, the people mourn. But when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
Yeah.
All right, because they're being subject to subversion and lies and deceit, man. All right.
And like we said, man, at that time they didn't want them to the so-called whites and the blacks to join together. Right now, in these times, they already prepared. They already fulfilling their enterprise. So they think they about to continue in their new world order plan. That's why they got the chip ready, but the brother got the scripture. What you gonna say?
Yeah, we just seen a glimpse of it in Charlottesville. You know, people were scared to get out of their cars and pump gas if they seen a group of white people. You know, you're gonna have to, in that type of atmosphere, you're gonna have to liken them to yourself, whether you like it or not. You know?
And but the reason why we say they want you to do it now is because they got the likes of George Soros. You know, they pushing these revolts, these uprisings. They the ones, the marches that we just had on Saturday for the immigration marches. You got hella Edomites and faggots. They saying all the oppressed, let's go together.
Bro, when you see the fucking highlights, not the highlights, but when you see the videos of that march, you see mainly fucking white people in black. I ain't see no Latinos except for when you see those Latinos wearing them American flag hats and shirts, and they had the umbrella with it. It's like, damn, bro, these people are done.
Hey, well, they celebrating the 4th of July right now, man. I guarantee you those some damn Northern Kingdoms out there, man. You know?
Nah, that's probably Jake though.
This is a proverb. Job 20 and 4 says, "Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reacheth unto the clouds, yet shall he perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, Where is he?"
Like
He shall-
kind of like a fart in the wind, you know?
Yeah.
Completely forgotten.
The so-called white man is gonna get flushed down the toilet, man.
Right.
That's some shit. All right. It says, "He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night."
Right. Yep. He's gonna be completely forgotten, man. I feel like I jumped the gun on that, but good. So like that.
Yeah, it says, the eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods.
Yep.
His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust.
Hey, what the scriptures say, he come out the womb speaking lies, you
Yeah.
know? This guy's just completely wicked, man. Even their kids are just little devils.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
See,
saying.
some people can't even understand that the wicked was created for the day of evil.
Yeah.
Like they can't understand that the Lord created this guy just for these things to happen. And then once your use is up,
Yeah,
nigga,
gonna
you
be
got to
done away
go.
with. You finished. You finished. It says, "Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth, yet his meat in his bowels is turned. It is the gall of ass within him. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again.
Yep.
Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, shall cast them out of his belly." Hey, man, the Lord's going to cast up everything, man, out of his belly, man.
Hey, you got that, Shamala? When you get it, read it. You had that scripture that brother called, Psalms 10?
Psalms 10 and what up?
Verse 10, verse 2.
This is Psalms 10 and 2. It says, the wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined.
Yeah, and that's what we're praying to the Lord, that he be taken in his own devices. He be trapped up in his own trap, man.
Yeah.
His new world order, they let it come to naught. Let him think that he's going to establish his new world order, but let those missiles come down upon his society. You lose everything.
If I may say real quick, we've seen this before. He in the trick bag just like Pharaoh was. You know, the Most High said, I'm a harden his heart. I'm a harden his heart. He just hardening his heart. He's making him more proud, just to fuck him up even more.
Yeah.
You know?
He like, I came too far to turn back now. He really think he got a chance, man.
Yeah, because when you're so tall, bro, you know, you don't think you're gonna fall, but you know they say the taller you are, the harder you fall.
Bigger.
The bigger they are, taller.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shema Shawan.
You want the Job?
Yeah. You got something different?
Blah.
Alright.
This is Job chapter 5, verse 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise.
See? He gonna disappoint the devices of the crafty. Your hands not gonna perform that enterprise you think you about to get this new world order. You think you just gonna chip all the Lord's people.
Yeah, you finance the destabilization, all right, the demoralization, all right. The crisis phase is about to come into hand when the economy collapses, all right, and that's the perfect time they're going to implement the new world order, to try to get back to the normalization that they created, which is to chip the new world order agenda, the utopia, or more so a dystopia, all right.
Bro, because what they wanted all along, that little group of people that rule all these other people. You know, that's what they wanted all along, but they knew it had to be a certain way to do it. You know? And they ain't about to ever get that to happen. Because you ain't the rulers. The real rulers is going to be the 144,000 led by Yahushua and King David.
That's right.
You know? And then the rest of the 144 on down. So you want to be us, man.
So,
You know?
Yep.
Devil?
Hey, Shema will bring that up. Second Maccabees 15 and 10.
This is Second Maccabees chapter 15, verse 10. It says, and when he had stirred up their minds, he gave them charge, showing them therewith all the falsehood of the heathen and the breach of oaths.
Right. So, hey, Esau, man, he stirred up these minds with these false charges, man, having people believe that they're actually white. You know, hey, this whole system that Esau created was just some big lie, some big ass lie.
Illusion.
Yep, big ass illusion.
And your sorceries have helped push forward these lies, and you got these people believing, you know, all of this madness, man.
Because that is witchcraft.
Yep.
And then they're gonna have to come to that reality, man, that look, everything that they learned, that they came up to, that they believed was a lie. And that's when they're gonna take the streets, and it's gonna be too late, man.
Yeah, because these people are gonna be so lost. They're gonna be so bugged out. Like we could, you know, they're gonna back up. Like we can't believe
Yeah, we
this.
can't believe
You
it.
know,
This is happening to us.
Yeah.
How could this happen to America?
Yep.
You know, this is the land of the great, the home of the free. Our forefathers told us about this, you know? Like they had a checks and balances system and all of that madness.
Because they thought they were so righteous and so beautiful
Yeah.
and good. You know.
God bless America.
But that's why all this is gonna be worth it. You know, seeing them walk past proud, you know, talking shit to us. Yeah, that's what's gonna make it worth it when we see them fall. Oh yeah, I know.
We're gonna wrap it up in a second. Bring out these precepts.
This is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night.
Read it again.
Is Revelation 12 and 10. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God.
Yeah, that's when Esau's going down, man. All right, salvation and strength is coming. All right, continue.
It says, in the power of his anointed.
In the power of his anointed. His anointed is Yahushua, man. All right, the one that's going to crack the heavens. All right, the scriptures say that every eye shall see him. All right, and the kings of the earth shall wail because of him. Go ahead.
It says, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down.
Yeah, the accuser of our brethren is cast down. The Edomites, man. All right, they're the accuser of Jake. They point fingers. All right, and the media, this is why the society is going out, because of these niggas, man. All right, these spicks, man. They point fingers, they scapegoat, man. When it's really the elites that are allowing these things to happen, man. Go ahead.
It says, which accused them before our God day and night.
Yeah, they cry, they have their source, their top witches, making accusations against us. All right, they eat pork. All right.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
we got men that's blaspheming your name. All right, they teaching other doctrines. All right, go for you niggas and you Israelites that claim to be Israelites that don't teach the correct doctrine, man. All right, go ahead. That's it.
Okay, yeah, I was here.
Yeah, this is Isaiah 1, verse 24. It says, therefore saith the Lord, the Yahweh of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, I will ease me of mine adversaries and avenge me of mine enemies. And I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away thy dross and take away all thy tents. So all that stuff you think you did to us, the Lord gonna just do away with it. You try to accuse us, he gonna the elect, he not gonna hold that sin to our charge, you know?
Yeah, and he's gonna clean us up, man. He's gonna polish us, man, and refine us. All right.
Because real fast, can you read that last part? Because he said, purify the draws.
Yeah, it says, verse 25, and I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away thy dross
Right.
and take away
Go ahead, finish it.
and take away all thy tin.
Right. So that draws and that tint is those unpurifications. That's why when it says, if you got gold, if you want to purify it, you put heat to it. When you put that heat to it, it purifies it. It takes away that draws, that dirt, from out of that gold. If you're looking to purify it,
It says, here's the point, verse 26, it says, and I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. So, hey, you turned everything upside down, but it's gonna get turned right side up. It said what? He gonna restore the judges as at the first, man.
And that's going to be a marvelous work, man, for the Lord to take his people from the condition that they're in now and establish them to be the greatest people on the earth, man. All right, that's going to be a marvelous work, man. Go ahead.
This is Isaiah 14:1. It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel.
Yeah, the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel, not Esau, man. All right? The Lord's not going to have mercy on Esau, man. The Lord's going to have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel. Go ahead.
It says, and set them in their own land.
And set them in their own land. So that means that those Israelis over there in the land of Israel, y'all not the real Israelites, man. Because the Lord's going to have mercy on Jacob and choose Israel, and he's going to set them in their own land, which we're going to be set in that land, man.
That's right.
All right, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right, how did you get the land? How did you get it? You lied. You use your white supremacy, man. All right, so-called white supremacy to get that land. Your lies, your falsehoods. All right, and your blessing. You use your blessing. Your blessing was the sword. All right. As soon as you got over that land, it was a war, man. All right.
You was down there?
It says, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
Yeah, we're gonna possess them in the land for servants and handmaids, man. Meaning we're gonna have Edomite women, the pretty of you Edomite women. All right, we're gonna have you as servants, as maidens. All right, we're gonna turn you into concubines.
Popping tools.
Yeah, just for pleasure, man. All right. According to how we feel, we're gonna have an Edomite woman, man. All right, when the Moors was in power over there in Spain, all right, they had the Edomite women. They used to take the Edomite women as slaves and they used to pop them, man. All right.
Oh, so like it says, and they shall take them captives who captives they were.
Yeah, they shall take them captives who captives they were. What do you do to a captive maid woman? You pop them, man.
Yes. Yeah, and who captives they were.
Mhm.
We used to be your captives.
Yes.
What you do to our
What you do to our women, man?
What you think we about to do to yours? Come on.
I might smack them around too, man.
Hell yeah.
Well, you know we are, bro.
Hell yeah. It says,
Ain't gonna be no what is it, domestic violence in the kingdom, man.
hell no.
You know? Because you're gonna be our property, man.
Yeah.
Come.
We're gonna slap shit out you because we want to. It says, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
And they shall rule over their oppressors, man. So your subversion, your subversive tactics, all right, they're gonna be esteemed as a potter's clay, man. All right,
This is the last one. Ecclesiasticus 25 verse 7. Verse 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy over his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy.
If I may say real quick, because what Esau do, he took our children away from us, man. You know, we can't raise our own children. You know, they got to go get his shots to go to his school, and if they don't go to his school, we get locked up. You know, the women's liberation, they put the woman over the men, so the woman kick us out, get funded by Esau. So now Esau raising our kids. When we try to make an effort to be in our kids' life, our kids resent us as if we wanted to leave. You see, like what the fuck is that, man? You know, so in the kingdom, we're gonna get to have the joy of our children. You know.
What's so beautiful about that? Even in this captivity, you still able to see how beautiful having children is. So
Yeah.
imagine how much more is going to be in the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah, and that's what the Most High counted. What did it say again?
That was the 9th. And there be 10th, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that have joy of his children, and he that lived to see the fall of his enemy.
You know, so we look forward to see the fall of these proud, you know, Edomites. Him that living to see the fall of his enemy. Hey, so this was from the subversion process by Thomas Suckhuman. It says this chart shows the 4 stages of communistic ideological subversion: demoralization, destabilization, crisis, and normalization. The methods used by the subverter in the different areas of life produce their desired results in a country that does not resist the subversion process. And America's finished because they're not going to resist this process, man.
Yeah, it said they doesn't even resist. You know, look how people go along with you, and you still just going through this process of just destroying them. And so you put forth your hands to such that be at peace with you, and you doing it through your enchantments, because that's what this is, you know. But the scriptures say there's no enchantment against Jacob, and hey, we see it. We see your plan. Yeah. We know the devices of what's the scripture say? We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. You know, and we pray to the Lord, hide us from the secret counsel of the wicked. You know, and hey, man, it's coming to light. You gonna fall upon your own sword, man. So
yeah, man, you're finished, man. You're finished. The only power that you've been given is the power to you get the 2/3, man.
Yeah,
you know,
that's it.
Hey, man, because if you see them on the videos, man, they talking shit. All right, these jicks, they don't know what's gonna come to them, man. You know.
All right, real fast. This is Proverbs 26. Verse 26. Who hated. Let me start up at 25. This is Proverbs 26 verse 25. He speaketh fear, believe him not, for there are seven abominations in his heart. Who hatred is covered, whose hatred is covered by deceit, and wickedness shall be shown before the whole congregation. This is the point. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him.
You know, so it's gonna, hey, Esau dig the pit, man, you know, he's gonna fall right in it, man. They say you make your bed, you lay in it, you know. So Esau, he wanted to mess with the wrong people. So now, hey man, now he got to pay the consequences, man. That stone that he rolled,
You know, it's gonna return right unto him. Anything else?
That's pretty much it.